If love is the highest frequency, then fear is its shadow. But what if fear wasn't just an emotion? What if it was a frequency that rewires reality itself? A vibration that doesn't just live in your mind, but ripples out, reshaping the world you see.
Don Hose learned this the hard way. Not in a classroom, not in a meditation hall, but staring down the barrel of a gun, certain he was about to die. In that frozen instant, his heart should have been racing. His hands should have been shaking. Instead, something shifted. The fear dissolved, replaced by a calm so deep it felt alien. And in that calm, the situation changed. The danger melted away.
Darius would tell you fear bends perception, that it distorts what's possible until you're trapped inside its design. Don says it's more than perception. Fear is a magnetic field. It attracts events, people, and even non-physical beings that match its frequency. Both agree on one thing. Fear is not the enemy you think it is, but it is a trap. And once you see it, you can choose whether to stay inside.
Before we go deeper, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps us keep exploring the places where science and spirit meet. And stay with us until the end, because we're going to show you how fear can either lock you inside the quantum trap or become the key that sets you free.
It happened when Don was 19. The night was still, the air heavy, the kind of silence that makes every sound feel too loud. And then, a movement, a shadow, the metallic click that freezes your blood. A gun raised, a stranger's eyes locked on his. Time didn't just slow, it fractured.
In those first milliseconds, fear tried to rise. A surge in the chest, a tightening in the throat. But something else took over. Don says it was as if he stepped out of himself, watching from somewhere higher, somewhere beyond panic. And from that vantage point, he saw it. His own body, lifeless, lying on the ground. Yet he wasn't afraid. The vision wasn't terror, it was clarity.
In that clarity, every muscle softened, every thought sharpened. He didn't plead, he didn't run. He simply spoke, calmly, slowly, and the energy shifted. The man with the gun hesitated. The threat dissolved into something almost human. Moments later, the weapon lowered, and Don walked away.
To him, this wasn't luck. It was proof. Proof that fear isn't just a reaction, it's a signal, a frequency. And when you step out of it, when you refuse to broadcast that vibration, the entire field around you changes. Danger loses its shape. The trap weakens.
Darius approaches fear like a sculptor with a chisel. He removes layer after layer of the self, identity, story, expectation, until there's nothing left for fear to cling to. When the you it wants to threaten disappears, the fear collapses under its own weight.
Don takes a different path. He doesn't dissolve the self, he attunes it. Through meditation on the third eye, he raises his inner frequency until fear can't survive in the same space. It's not about ignoring the danger, it's about changing the channel so completely that danger can't even find you.
Two paths. One empties the cup so fear has nowhere to pour itself. The other fills the cup with a light so strong that fear evaporates before it can touch the surface.
Both lead to the same place, a reality where fear is no longer the architect of your choices, where your field, your presence, becomes the dominant signal in any room, no matter what stands in front of you.
If you're ready, let's try something simple. A way to feel, even for a moment, what it's like to step out of the quantum trap. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly, as if you're pulling fresh air through the top of your head. Hold it, just for a heartbeat. Now exhale, imagining that the weight of fear is melting out through the soles of your feet.
Bring your attention to the point between your eyebrows, the space Don calls the gateway. See a light there, no bigger than a grain of sand. With every breath, watch it grow brighter, warmer, until it fills your forehead, your chest, your entire body. Let that light hum, not as a sound you hear, but as a vibration you feel.
And now, imagine that vibration expanding beyond your skin, into the space around you, into the walls, the air, the people in your life. You're not forcing it. You're not fighting fear. You're replacing it, changing the frequency until fear simply has nowhere left to stand.
Because here's the paradox. Fear can be the cage, or it can be the key. For some, it's the barrier they never cross. For others, it's the moment they realize the door was never locked.
Darius looks at fear and sees not just a personal reaction, but a structural flaw in how we understand reality itself. He calls it the architect of illusions. Fear, in his view, doesn't just distort perception, it designs entire worlds for you to inhabit, complete with rules, walls, and locked doors, all built from your own mind's expectations.
From a scientific lens, this isn't far-fetched. Neuroscience shows that fear literally changes how the brain processes information, shrinking your ability to see nuance, amplifying threats, and filtering out possibilities. Philosophers from Epictetus to Kierkegaard have argued that fear narrows existence, trapping us in what Kierkegaard called the sickness unto death, a kind of paralysis of the spirit. Darius weaves these threads together into something deeper. If observation shapes reality, as quantum physics suggests, then fear doesn't just live inside you, it becomes part of the measurement itself. And the moment you measure through fear, you collapse reality into its most limiting form.
This is the new paradigm. Fear is not merely something to overcome, it's a lens that shapes the very fabric of what becomes real for you. Change the lens, and you change the universe you experience. Dawn and Darius walk different roads to get there. One by dissolving the self, the other by tuning the self. But they both arrive at the same revelation. The trap was never outside you. Darius would say the first step is to notice the lens you're looking through. If fear is the architect of illusions, then your job is to see the blueprint, to realize that the walls, the locked doors, the narrow corridors were drawn by your own perception. The moment you see them, their solidity begins to dissolve.
Dawn would guide you differently. He wouldn't ask you to analyze the blueprint. He'd hand you the key to step outside it. And here's where their paths meet. For Darius, this is the moment the illusion collapses. The fear no longer has a structure to stand on. For Dawn, this is when your frequency shifts so completely that fear cannot even find you. Two languages, one truth.
Because here's the paradox. Fear can be the cage, or it can be the key. For some, it's the barrier they never cross. For others, it's the moment they realize the door was never locked.
Have you ever seen fear from this perspective before? Not as an enemy to be destroyed, but as a frequency shaping the reality around you. Have you ever found your own way to face fear without running from yourself? Or maybe you've already discovered a practice that turns fear into clarity. I'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments. You can write, "I've seen the trap," if this opens something new for you. Or, "I've turned fear into light," if you've already felt this shift.
So I'll leave you with this. What's the moment in your life when fear built the walls around you? And what would happen if you realized those walls were never real? If fear is just a frequency, how much of your reality have you been tuning to the wrong channel?
If this conversation moved something inside you, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and send it to someone you feel is ready for this kind of transformative perspective.
And now there are two videos on your screen. One will take you deeper into the quantum signs of love, the highest frequency. The other will lead you further into the mystery of consciousness and what lies beyond the body. Choose one and continue your journey.
Remember, the moment you stop running from fear,
is the moment it runs out of places to hide.